You're probably all familiar with how many continents and oceans we have here on planet Earth, but things haven't always been this way. When do you think of prehistoric times? You might picture a T-Rex charging through the jungle with its teeth showing, but even before dinosaurs, other giant creatures ruled the Earth. It all started 300 million years ago, in the Permian period, when the Earth's crust formed one giant continent, Pangaea, which was surrounded by one world ocean, Panthalassa. Pangaea was shaped like a chunky letter C. The top was later to become what we know today as Europe and Asia. At the side of the C are North America and South America, Africa inside the curve, and India, Australia, and Antarctica at the bottom. It would have been a lot easier to get around then. Well, maybe not. Transport hadn't been invented. I guess if you zip back that far in your time machine, you could hitch a lift on the back of one of the animals. But who lived in these strange times 252 to 299 million years ago? Let's take a closer look. At this time, temperatures were much colder than today. Then, during the early days of the Permian period, Earth experienced significant warming, which led to a flourishing and lush environment teeming with diverse plant life. This also led to a quick evolution of insects and animals. Reefs were large and teeming with species of sponge and coral, and believe it or not, sharks and rays were commonplace. When huge swamp forests started to dry up, plants had to make changes to survive. That's when, around 290 million years ago, the Earth witnessed the emergence of the very first seed-bearing plants known as gymnosperms. These plants had seeds in their cones and quickly spread across the supercontinent. It was like a wildfire of plant life. But did you know that these forests of the early Permian were hiding something familiar? Just like today, you will find cicadas, beetles, and cockroaches. However, these weren't the cockroaches you know today. These prehistoric creatures were colossal, reaching sizes comparable to birds. Imagine these creatures are running through your kitchen. Better not. With a size up to 30 centimeters, which is bigger than our flat hand, the giant thousand-footed is a fascinating animal. You can find this arthropod today in the jungles of Africa. However, their current size pales in comparison to their prehistoric ancestors. Under the name Arthropleura, there existed arthropods with a length of up to 2.5 meters, or 8 feet, and a total weight of 50 kilograms, or 110 pounds. Although fragments of their remains have been discovered in various parts of the world, no complete fossil of Arthropleura has ever been found. But despite their size, these insects never ruled prehistoric land, and that's good news, am I right? Actually, something much more fascinating was roaming Pangaea. In the middle of the Permian period, this species had its heyday but were extinct perhaps 40 million years before dinosaurs ever walked the Earth. Do you know what they were called? Yes, that's right, Dimetrodon. They walked like a crocodile on 4 legs with a solar heating panel for a sail. It reached a size of up to 5 meters or 16 feet long and weighed 225 kilograms or 500 pounds. It had a large sail running down its spine. Scientists think the sail helped the reptile regulate its body temperature, soaking up the warmth during the daytime and dissipating excess heat during the cooler nights. Notice their sharp claws? It's the oldest known apex predator in the world, and if you don't know what that means, they were at the top of the food chain with no known predators of their own. Better be careful, it had a variety of teeth, sharp and flat teeth that would slice you open and grind you up. A cousin of the Dimetrodon was the Edaphosaurus, another pelycosaur, which means it was not a dinosaur or a reptile. Some of these may have led to the therapsids, a group that includes early mammals. Yes, our ancient ancestors, more closely related to humans than dinosaurs, which is bizarre when you look at them, don't you think? Some people speculate that Dimetrodons ate their Edaphosaurus cousins. I'm glad that trait hasn't passed down through the ages. Or has it? Let me know in the comments. The Edaphosaurus looked very similar to the Dimetrodon. The main difference between the two was their spines had crossbars that supported their sail-like fins. As for eating habits, while we know Dimetrodons were meat eaters, cousins included, Edaphosaurus were vegetarians, or plant eaters, as they used to be called. They both lived in an area that in modern times is called Texas. I wonder if they wore cowboy hats. Sorry, probably not. Hats weren't invented for a couple hundred more million years. Unlike its cousin, the smaller Edaphosaurus had teeth that were so primitive it needed a lot of intestines to break down all of the tough plants it was eating. The result of that was that Edaphosaurus were squat and fat. It probably dragged its belly along the ground, making it slow and easy prey for the Dimetrodon and other predators at that time. It was a tough time for many species to survive with a changing climate. It's thought that climate change ultimately led to the Dimetrodon's extinction, but all we know is what has been discovered through fossil hunting. The Permian period concluded with the biggest mass extinction on record, 70% of land animals and a staggering 95% of marine life, although it's harder to find fossils under the sea than on land for obvious reasons. The larger synapsids, who we met earlier, the Dimetrodon, remember, sadly became extinct at the end of the Permian period. However, the Sauropsids group survived them and evolved into dinosaurs and birds in the Triassic period, which followed the Permian period and was the first and shortest period of the Mesozoic era.